Hello, everyone. Well, from the title itself, it's pretty weird. Like, people usually jump ship from Ember to React, but not the other way around. So, it should be fun. Well, who am I? The name is Toyib, Olamide Ahmed, and mostly people call me Ola, which is my middle name, but maybe my parents should have made that my first name because it's actually more popular than my first name. And people use my first name on a professional setting. So if you call me Toyib, I'd probably be like, now I need to comport myself. But if you call me All, I'll be like, yeah, let's go get some booze. So yeah. So it depends on the context. And I'm a front-end software engineer at Forest Salon Software. Uh, and my background is in cybersecurity, which is pretty cool and weird at the same time. But I chose to be a developer because that's something I've been doing for 13, 14 years. I started developing even before I knew I would become a developer. So I'm fascinated about technology since I was a kid, and it's just what it is. I've been developing for over 6 years with React.js. That's a very long time for somebody to just jump ship into something new and small as Ember, but it is what it is. And recently I switched to Ember.js. It's been about 5 months, so it's been very tricky, right? I love traveling. I've been to 43 countries so far, and I've lived in 5. So, I'm not yet 30, so I'm thinking to do everything by the time I get like 40, maybe travel the world. So that's the plan. I do mentor people in my free time, and I help people get into software development. So yeah, I might look young, but I also make impact on people. And why? Because when I was trying to become a developer, I had no mentorship. And I think that took me some time to actually break in. So now I help people to break in faster. Just kick down the door. You can find me everywhere at Code with the Real Ola, on Instagram, Telegram maybe, and what's this new one from Meta? You can find me everywhere with that. So you can see the Ola is still there because nobody knows we are Toyib, but yeah. Why this talk? Very interesting thing. Like usually, we're in an Ember fest. We shouldn't be comparing like React to Ember, but I just want to share with you guys. It's my first talk in any conference. So, and I've been working with Ember for like 5 months. And every day of my life for the last 5 months, I compare every single thing about Ember to React. I'm like, this is weird. So yeah, this talk is to compare 2 frameworks from a developer's perspective. I'm a dev, so I'm not going to be showing you any code, so it's more like a story rather than, yeah. No framework is perfect. This is one thing that I figured out, and we're about to find out ourselves too. Yes, I agree with you if you say React is a library, but for the sake of this talk, let's just say it's a framework. Moving forward, how did I found React? That's an interesting one. 13 years ago, I was I was living in an apartment complex, different apartment in a big building. And I have a neighbor, he's an engineer, web developer. He uses WordPress and stuff to like 1,000 people and collect millions of nairas from them. 13, 14 years ago, software wasn't really big in Nigeria. And he's the only guy close to me that has a Wi-Fi connection. Everybody's on mobile, and internet is not even a big thing then, but this dude always has Wi-Fi. And I'm good with technology as a kid. That was the time of like Symbian phones and stuff. So I hack into his Wi-Fi. And I will use his Wi-Fi inside of my home. And until one day, about 3 months, then he said, Toy, please come. I was like, oh shit. Then he said, do you think I don't know you are using my Wi-Fi? I said, I'm sorry, but you are the only guy around that has a Wi-Fi connection, and I need to browse because the more you stay on the internet, the more stuff you learn. And I can go to school and sell stuff to my colleagues because that's the best way I can make money. I can download games, I can find cheats about network providers and sell to my friends so you can browse for free. If you pay me 100 euros instead of 200, you browse for free. Why not? So that's how it all started. Then he said, you know what? I really think you have a thing for software development, and I think you are good at security stuff. So why not go to school? I'm like, dude, I just finished high school. I don't want to go to school, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you know what, go to school. After you finish school, I'm going to give you a job. That was like, okay. Now we are talking about money. Everything is about money, right? So, yeah. So because of that, I went to school to study computer science. And fast forward to me finishing, then he gave me a job, and which was where I got introduced to WordPress and life of software development. But how I found React, I moved to Estonia in 2016 to study, and in 2018 I had to do a placement. So to do a placement, I had to do placement, internship, whatever you call it, and I was studying cybersecurity, but I wanted to become a software engineer. I don't want to go to any security companies in Estonia. I want to work for a software company. So I started looking outside, Czech Republic, Poland, Malta. And then I got my first, my first technical task from one of these companies, and they said, build this simple application, but build it with Node.js. I was like, what the hell is Node.js? So I started reading about Node.js, but I have this can-do attitude. Doesn't matter, just bring it to me. I'll try to get it done. So it's been there. Started looking into Node.js, then from Node.js, NPM and stuff, and then stumbled upon React, just reading something maybe from Stack Overflow, and then I was like, React, this looks cool. React class component started, and that's how the journey started in 2018, and up till today, I still write React. Even though I work for a company that uses Ember, I have side projects. Initial attraction to React. React is flexible. Component-based architecture makes everything just easy. You can write something in isolation, you can use it, you can reuse it, you know, just makes it better. It's not like it's not possible in Ember, so don't go for me yet. We'll get to that part of Ember too. The ecosystem, vast libraries and tools, you know. You want to do something, you can do whatever you want. You can bring data reference into your application to use. Let's use Lodash. I don't want to write my own stuff. It's even. It's actually funny that we have it's even function in Lodash. Like, you can just check if it's even yourself. And what else? Community. So React is very, very popular, and there's a lot of support. You know, I've never felt alone. It's easier to find stuff online. It's easier to speak to people that knows about React, and it's just out there. So for me, it was easy, really easy. Even migrating from like class component, like functional component, and you know, it was absolutely amazing. My first impression, JSS, right? You can either love it or hate it. You can either say, this is so cool, I can write my JavaScript inside, I can write HTML and JavaScript together, or you can say, what the hell is this? If you are coming from Angular, for example. And React it has this unidirectional data flow, which means that the flow is in a single direction. So data comes from the parent to the child. Pretty much all framework. Some do bi-directional, but let's not go there. The strength and challenges of React itself that I really love. It's flexible, adaptable for any project. You can usually use React to build whatever you want, which is cool. Huge ecosystem and community. Community is great. Community is everything, because if you don't have the community, or if you don't, you don't have people around you to support you, then who are you? Challenges. There's a lot of stuff to learn, and there's a lot of stuff to actually figure out, because it's flexible, right? But at the same time, you can do so many things in so many wrong ways. I once looked into a project for a company. I won't mention the name of the company. And I think it was about a year ago. They were looking for a senior software engineer. And I said, okay, so it's full remote. Let me give it a shot. Fast forward to a couple of days, I got the job, not knowing that I got problem. And I started like a couple of weeks after that. I looked into their code base and I was like, I don't think I can work in this company. Code base is everything for me. And since then, I had looking into the code base to one of the requirements for me for accepting a job offer. So after we go through the interview stage and we're like, okay, so what can I do to make you accept the job? Can I check your code base, please? So yeah, the code base was just so I was disgusted. It was React, but felt like jQuery. Like it was absolutely chaos everywhere. I was just like, wow, this is not for me. Fast forward to 3 weeks later, I quit inside of my car. I have no respect for the company at all. It was like, do you want to have a meeting? I'm like, yes, I quit. So it's also difficult to manage state in React. You have to bring in libraries like Redux and so on and it's a lot of hassle and bustle and its own. So that's why I do know Redux, but I probably won't accept a job where they use Redux. I'm sorry, but I cannot be bothered. Transitioning to Ember. Cheers. Why this switch? I was tired of too many choices? Maybe. But that's not the main reason. After working with React for 5 years, I was starting to get bored. But I do know Java, right? I do know Java because I learned Java in school. Let me give you a backstory about that. This is a story time anyways. I'm the kind of person, or I'm the kind of student that I don't mind if I fail maths, or if I get 51 out of 100 in maths, that's an E, fine. But if I get 91 out of 100 in Java, I'm gonna take that exam again because it's Java, it's freaking Java. I have to get 100 in Java. So, just when I was in school, I had to take Java exam twice because I have to get 100 in Java. I can't get 91 in Java. So that's just to tell you guys that I understand some Java and some Kotlin, but to also brag because I love bragging. Yeah. So I was tired of too many choices, and then I said something about 5 years. I started doing Java in my previous job because I was bored. Is my mic still working? Yeah. Because I got bored working with React only, so I started doing some backend work because I started doing some orchestration, started helping the backend engineers so I become more of a lead engineer rather than just a front-end engineer on my team, and that was cool. So that was I didn't want to leave the company, but that was the point that I knew that I wanted something different. But I don't want to write Angular, no. So the next big thing was Ember. Wanted to explore a more opinionated structure framework, and I heard about Ember first time last year when I was moving to Dublin. I moved to Dublin recently last year, and I heard about Ember from Steven. When I told Steven has been my everything, to be honest. My friend, my mentor, my teacher at some point. Don't want to go into that story because I can spend time telling you, I can spend the entire day just explaining who Steven is to me. And Steven's like, I work for a company called Forest, and they use Ember. So if you want to work with us, or if you want to work for us someday, you have to maybe look into Ember. So I kind of knew about Ember from last year. And then this year, I was just like, I want something different. Okay, I reached out to Steven and he's like, we actually have this role. Do you want to give it a shot? I'm like, why not? It's Ember, right? So went into Ember documentation for the first time, which is pretty interesting. And what was my first encounter like? Ember, right? Looks cool. I appreciated the CLI and the conventions. It was so easy for me to, to start using Ember. I thought it was going to be difficult. There's a lot of convention regarding Ember, like it's opinionated, it's complicated, it's this, it's that. But I'm a React developer. We do things our own way. I just can't take whatever library and use it however I want it to be used, and nobody's gonna ask me because they don't even know it. So, yeah. And learning Ember's convention over configuration is something that I think every engineer needs, and that's one thing that I really enjoy or I really like about Ember. you can't really do things your own way. I mean, you can to some extent, but if it's not following the Ember convention, it's not gonna work. And you just have to go and figure out why it's not working. And that's because you're doing it wrong, right? So do it the right way. And this is what I like about this, because for me, I think it's easier to, teach somebody something that is always going to be the same way rather than react way. Okay, there was this talk from Thomas yesterday where he was showing us different types of project structure. And we couldn't recognize the first two, but we were able to recognize the third one because that was Ember. And we have the services, and we have the router, and we have the component, and we can tell that this is Ember project. And this kind of thing make it easier for you to learn Ember, or make it easier for me to understand that, okay, this is what Ember is like, and this is what I have to adjust to. And the moment I figured that out, it was just a smooth sailing from there. But React application, you can totally have your component in your public if you want. The strength and challenges, I love the fact that we have building tools, a lot of building tools that can be used, and yeah, it's nice. From a React engineer perspective, it was a bit weird at first. It kind of gave me nightmares. I felt like I was doing Angular all over again, but it's fine. And I love the structured approach also, like I just explained. Challenges, small community, which I'm starting to fall in love with. I mean, it's nice. I like how everybody kind of knows everybody, and you can really get things done, and you can really make impact. And I'm just looking forward to making impact. So yeah. And the learning convention is not so difficult. You just need to figure it out. You just need to kind of first of all, what I had to do was kind of scratch the entire React mindset. Because the first week I was thinking React, I was like, no, we don't do this in React. I remember complaining to Piotr. Piotr was my buddy, my technical buddy. He's probably watching live, so shout out to Piotr. Otherwise, maybe I would have even quit my job. But yeah, he made everything so much easier for me, and he explained so well that I was able to kind of figure it out after a couple of weeks. And if you really want to get into Ember coming from something else, you kind of have to scratch that. I have to think MVC. I was saying this to somebody yesterday. I have to think PHP, because in Ember you have a model, you have route, and you have components. So you have to, it comes in that order. When in React, you can just write a component where you have your, you have your JavaScript, your HTML, and you have JSX. And you can even write your CSS inside it if you know how to use style components. So you can have one file, does it all, but it's a bit different with Ember. So you have to learn the convention. You have to understand how it works. Otherwise, you will not be able to use it. You will struggle a lot. One thing that I find, I won't say weird, because now it's starting to become part of me, was using handlebars, but that was really cool. Well, now let's talk about the comparative analysis. Let's compare the little things that I think Ember does differently and React does differently, at least from my own perspective, just to show you what I feel like so far. Learning curve. React is steep. React has steep learning curve due to JSX and its ecosystem. It can get crazy, it can get big, it can get, you can get lost. Ember, easier onboarding. Due to strong conventions, you have to do something in some ways, otherwise it's not going to work. So it's easier. You read about it, you figure it out, you take it slow, and you eventually get it and make it work. Development experience. React is flexible, but because it's flexible, I can say maybe 60, maybe that's a big number. 40, 50% of React engineers are probably writing it wrong. And I'm not joking, wrong. I have seen different code base. I have mentored several people, and yeah, they are doing it wrong. So because it's flexible, engineers become lazy. You can totally write stuff yourself, but because there's a library for it, let's use it without research. some like not every library are like credible. Not every library are being supported. Some libraries has been deprecated since ages, and you have so much going on and so much happening in the code base, and majority of engineers just don't understand it. They don't even want to figure it out, which is really weird. So because of that, it's you can have fragmented code base, and it might be working or it might be running, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's working the right way. But Ember, it's predictable, less variations. It's kind of like, for me, it might have a small community. It's still small, but I feel like we are going to get there. Ember is going to get big because it's predictable. It has less variations. You do something some ways and only that way. And because of that, I can totally come to your company tomorrow, look into your code base, and I will totally understand what you guys are doing. And I can look into your structure. I can figure things out like easily and faster without lots of headache and nightmares. Ecosystem and community. Yes, React has a large community, and they are active, doing stuff here and there, which is cool. I'm still part of that, and I don't think I'm gonna be going anywhere because I still teach people React. I still know React myself, and I'm still working with React on the side. And Ember is smaller, focused on stability, but I'm really glad that I was in this, that I'm in this particular conference because I saw lots of the talk yesterday, and I can tell you that I am more energized to be part of this community today than I was 3 days ago from all the talk and just to see where Ember is actually going. It's I'm energized. I'm looking forward to the next thing. So yeah, you are not going to lose me anytime soon. So yeah. And performance. React Virtual DOM is fast for dynamic UIs, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, we're also getting there with other frameworks. Even there are frameworks that are doing better now, I would say. But Ember, Glimmer engine optimized for large applications. Problem with React is that to build complicated applications, it's you kind of have to start having like monorepos and stuff to start having like different React applications and to start isolating stuff and then bringing them together in one application. But you can just go crazy with Ember because it has this robust system and robust architecture which you can use to build stuff. Use cases. React is best for single-page application. I can totally create a React application in the last 20 minutes that we've been speaking, and it's probably already deployed to like Netlify. And Ember is ideal for complex, large-scale apps. I think this is based on my own analysis, based on what I think. You are all entitled to your opinion, and feel free to question me or feel free to attack me. I like criticisms. They make me they make me better. So yeah. And my practical advice for developers is choosing the right framework. React, if you need flexibility and third-party tools, that might end up crashing your app in the future, or might be too difficult to kind of like manage or kind of like upgrade, or depending on the how cumbersome your application is. Or you can choose Ember if you want building tools and value convention over configuration. So, and in conclusion, let me give you a real world example before we go to the conclusion conclusion bit. Real world examples of actually companies that are using Ember and React. You see, when it comes to, let's go back to my first slide where I say no framework is perfect. You just have to choose the right thing that your company needs or that your business needs. I'm not saying that React is good, and I'm not saying that Ember is bad or Ember is better than React. I'm saying that every developer should have the choice to choose what they want to use or what they feel comfortable using and what's suitable for the business, and obviously what the developers in your company can write. If the developers in your company can't write React, you can't use React. Even if Ember is not suitable framework for the job, Ember is still going to get used because that's what The people in your company or in your team, that's what they know how to use or know how to write. I'm going to take my company as a first example of real-world experience. This is a company where I see Ember thrive. I mean, our code base is, I'm not bragging, but of course I also like to brag. Our code base is clean. Our code base is, I'm the kind of person that takes a lot of pride in code, to be honest. I know it's not really mine, but it's also mine because I'm working on it, I'm developing it, I'm adding new functionality to it. And I take pride in that. I want to show my code to you and I want you to say, wow, like you've done an amazing job. So this is the company where Ember thrives. Another company is CrowdStrike. I haven't seen their code base, but they look like they are doing good. We've got Intercom and we also have Netflix here. They use Ember. And it's also weird because they also use, Netflix also use React. And they kind of have like, you see what I'm saying about using the right tools. It's not about Ember being the best or React being the best. It's about using the right tools for the right part of your code. And as long as your company can afford it and you have people that knows it, like you say in Russian, we say, davai, let's do it. And we have Forest again. you wonder, like, why do we have Forest again? We don't use React.js in Forest, but we do use React Native. React Native is an abstract of React, so we are technically using React. So which means that we do have engineers that can write. If we decide to start writing React next week, for some reason, I think our engineers will pick it up like super fast. And luckily for them, they also have me. And in conclusion, both frameworks are great. They are just for different needs. You know, you just need to figure out why you need one, or why you need the other. Please just experiment and choose based on your project needs, based on your company needs. And yeah. And if you are still undecided, flip a coin. But if you are in this room, we all know that you guys are going to choose Ember. So if I'm in a React conference right now, we know what we are going to choose. So yeah. Key takeaways from this talk is simple. React is flexible. It's great for dynamic UIs, and you can go crazy with it. It's just that the more crazy you go, the crazier it comes to bite you in the future. And Ember is structured, ideal for complex application. And the most important key takeaway here is that you need to choose based on your project needs. And that brings to the end of my talk. Mic drop.